Otakuology Podcast with Otaku Mike and Jin Graves.
Hey everyone, what's up? Jin back with another Otakuology Unwind episode. And you know what? The good thing about this episode is Otaku Mike's not sick with COVID anymore. So he's back.
That is true. The one, the only, the infamous Otaku Mike is back. I don't know if I'm infamous. I might just patted myself on the back there.
Well, I mean, you're probably infamous like your podcast, so...
Is my podcast? Podcast infamous?
I mean, you are covering Infamous, right?
You mean Invincible?
Yes, there you go. So you're the Invincible Mike, not the infamous Mike. You'll have to cover a comic called Infamous to have.
I mean, there's a game series called Infamous.
There you go. You'll have to talk about it and review the game on the podcast.
I mean, they're okay games. They're not terrible. I mean, they're fun.
No, so playing off of that, there's this old one that I really liked, and it was kind of set up like Infamous, but I think it was called Legend. And you went around and like you picked up like superpowers and stuff, all based off of myth. It was pretty fun, but I could never get very far in it because every time I started it, it would seem like somebody would come in behind me when I wasn't there and like and play it. And I was so pissed because it would be like, oh, your data's corrupted. I'm like, how? When I start it like a million times, how is it all corrupted?
That seems like a personal problem.
Oh, it was. So I started getting to the point where like,
oh yeah, well
people don't touch my game systems.
It's not as bad as. So do you remember? I'm going off a tangent here, but do you ever get like those PlayStation magazines?
Yeah. And
they would get like the demo discs each month.
Kind of.
Well, you would get like a demo disc for like PlayStation magazines, right. And I subscribed to it, and I had one, and on it was a demo for I think like Beautiful Joe 1 or 2. I can't remember which one it was. And if you played the demo, it would corrupt your entire memory card. There was a bug on the demo disc, and I played it. And like all my shit got erased for all my games. I was like, what the fuck?
That fucking sucks.
Anyways. Yeah. Anyways, it's good to be back on the podcast. I'm excited.
The infamous podcast?
The infamous podcast. I'm excited to be back podcasting. It's been about 2 weeks, maybe more, 3 weeks.
Well, let's just face it. It's been about a year.
A year? What are you talking about?
Whenever anybody's like, "Oh, you were gone for a little while," I go, "Yeah, it was a year." Like everybody's like, "What?"
Honestly, like I'm curious as to like, because I don't think I really told anybody like I was not on the podcast.
I don't think so.
Yeah. I mean, I might have dropped it a little bit here and there. I don't know. I can't remember.
No, and I mean, and the funny thing was really like we could have recorded and done all that other stuff, but I mean, you were just so like tired and out of it with some stuff that we tried to do, and I was like, okay, let's get through this recording. So I was like,
let me like fucking tell you what happened. Let me tell you what happened. So,
do I need to stay in the room, or are you talking to the audience?
I'm talking to both. I'm talking to both of y'all.
Okay? I'm talking to all you motherfuckers.
I'm talking to everybody who listens right now. I'm not one of those like conspiracy people or like anti-vaxxers or whatever you want to call them, or like, oh, COVID's not. This fucking COVID shit is no fucking joke.
COVID's myth.
I'll tell you that fucking much. So, like last Wednesday, because I was out I was at work last Wednesday, so we had to go to this live like assembly.
Yeah,
and they're like, okay, everybody come to this live assembly. Nobody knew what this fucking live assembly was for, and it was for to let everybody know our CEO was stepping down and we were getting a new CEO president or whatever for our company that I work
Right.
for. And I'm sitting there in this fucking room, standing room only, in our cafeteria with like probably like 800 other fucking people.
Oh, it sucks.
Maybe less than that. Maybe it was like 600 or 500. I can't remember. It was over 100 people.
It was
And
in the hundreds, though.
it was in the hundreds. I'm
Okay.
sitting there. I'm fucking surrounded by people. And I'm like, what the? I'm like, oh, I'm fucking tired of standing. I was standing for like 30 fucking minutes. I'm like, man, my feet hurt. When is this gonna get over? When are we gonna get? And I start to like have like the sweats. I start to sweat. And I'm like, oh, okay, maybe it's just because I'm in a room with like 500 other people, you know. And I get back to my work, and it's like 3:30, and then we end around like 4. So I have like an hour left to work, and I start developing like a little cough, a little cough. And
Right.
then I leave, and I'm like, oh no, I feel like shit. I was like, oh man, I hope it's not like allergies or something. And then like I go to Target to look for a fucking water bowl for my dogs. I can't find the water bowl I'm looking for. I can only find a cat water bowl, one that like like dispenses water, Because the other day I broke my water bowl for my dogs on accident. I accidentally dropped it and it broke. So I'm like, oh man, I'm starting to get the shakes, starting to hurt, starting to feel really tired. I get home, I go to bed. I don't even fucking eat dinner. And then 2 days go by and I'm like, I think I might have COVID. I think I might have COVID. So like Thursday, then Friday at the end of the day, I'm like, I think I need to take a COVID test. I was like hacking up shit and
Right.
coughing. My throat
Well,
fucking hurt.
and I thought it was so funny because, like, almost every time we talked, it was like, Jen, I think I have COVID.
I think I have COVID.
And I'm like, no, you don't have that. No, I think I do.
No, I think I do.
And
I
then,
think
and
I
then it
do.
was like every conversation from, I think I have COVID. No, no, that can't be what this is.
And so
No, I think I got it.
Wednesday evening, Thursday, Friday, I started to feel better Saturday. I no longer had a fever, no longer had the shakes and aches and pains, but I did have a cough. I had a cough, which was okay. So we
Did you have the cough from Zoolander? You know, he's got that cough, and it's he's like,
no, this was like a like a like a like
Yeah.
hacking up like shit.
I'm about to lose a lung.
Yes, that's what it was. So we've been planning this thing for my daughter for like months. We were gonna take her to go see JoJo Siwa, and I was like, okay, I feel well enough. I don't think I'm like contagious at all. I have no more fever, so I think I'm good. And so I go to this JoJo Siwa concert, up in the nosebleeds, coughing. My nose is dripping like a fucking faucet. I have toilet paper shoved up my nose to stop all the stuff from coming out of my nose. I've got earplugs in my ears because it's so fucking loud. Have you ever heard over 5,000 little girls screech and chant for a pop star?
Maybe.
It's deafening, and I can still hear it to this day.
And that's how you had to get your horn. Like in old timey movies or whatever, you see the person that has the horn, they stick it up to their ear just so they can hear.
Well, the thing is, I had like heavy duty like earplugs in my ears, and I still fucking heard everything.
Yeah.
Like it was that fucking loud. And so we get back from there, and then my wife gets COVID. So I gave my wife COVID, and we potentially gave all these other people COVID as well.
That you think.
That I think. I don't know. Cross my fingers, knock on wood. I hope nobody else got COVID.
Well, I mean that you think that you gave your wife COVID.
Oh no, it's 100%. plausible that she got COVID.
You're like, it was me.
It was me. It was me.
No ifs, ands, or buts. It was me.
So she gets COVID, and I'm like, okay, well, you need to get better by this fucking week. You need to get better. So I was pumping her full of medicine. I grabbed every kind of Mucinex I could find. If they had it, I bought it. I was pumping her full of medicine. I was like, I need to get through this week. Because I was supposed to come up to Arkansas to meet you.
Yeah.
That never happened because we had a snow ice storm go from Texas to Arkansas. And so I had to cancel my trip.
We had to reschedule. We didn't
had
cancel.
we had to reschedule.
Stop saying cancel.
A month. So we couldn't.
Which can I bring this up real quick?
I don't know.
Thought it was so funny. I thought it was so funny. So talking to you and your wife or whatever, whenever it popped up, like when both of us had to tell you, hey, it's probably not a good idea to come up or whatever, you were like, but I want to go see Jen.
I was like, I want to go. I've been stuck in the fucking house for over a week.
Yeah. I mean, you just sounded so defeated. And so every time we talked, I had to tell you that. Which I knew it didn't make anything better, but it was like, I want to go to Little Rock.
I fucking got COVID for this. I survived COVID. And then fucking Mother Nature wants to get in my fucking business and not allow me to travel.
Right.
It was heartbreaking. It was heartbreaking, to say the least.
Oh, it was hilarious. It was hilarious. I was like trying to figure out if you were just going to be like, you know what, I'll just drive up by myself.
I mean, I thought about it, but then they started closing the roads in my town.
Yeah.
So I couldn't even leave town if I wanted to.
It's so funny.
I mean, I was so hyped for this and I was so looking forward to it. And just fucking shit keeps getting in my fucking way.
Right. I mean, shit happens like that sometimes, you know?
It's like I can't fucking catch a break. I can't catch a break when it comes to this. Because I had to get into a whole ordeal with my baby mama, too, because she ended up getting COVID, but I did not give her COVID. But she got COVID, and then she was all hung up about wanting to take our daughter to school.
Yeah.
And she was so dead set on wanting to take her when I had COVID. So Allison wouldn't be exposed, but Allison was exposed already. So there's not much I could do, you know. We quarantined away from all three of us, quarantined away from each other, you know. So we didn't try to affect the other, but obviously one of us got infected or two of us got infected, you know. Which doesn't make sense logically why you would take somebody in a COVID hotspot and put them in a non-COVID hotspot.
Right.
But then it all came down and boiled down to she just wanted to take Allison to school because for some reason she's hung up on taking her to school. Which, taking a child to school, I don't feel like is a big deal. Like, it's just you drop them off. Bye. Okay, bye. You know.
Yeah.
That's all you do. Yeah. You know? Anyways, that was my kind of whole ordeal. I've just been sitting at home playing video games, building models, and playing video games.
Yeah.
Not podcasting, I'll tell you that much. That's not what I've been doing.
Right. Well, you know, I've been podcasting, and I still have a few more. I still have a few more favors that I promised people that I would do.
Did you promise them, or did you bribe them?
And we'll have to hold on to. Oh, hell no. You know, I'd cut off my bribes fast.
You know, I was looking forward to one of the podcasts that you had scheduled, but that podcast has not materialized.
You said what?
I was looking forward to one of them, the one with, because I knew it was going to be like a hot button topic.
Oh, the one with me
The
and my brother?
Yeah, the one with you and your brother. Because I wanted to listen to that one. The other ones were okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I think he got like a bug or something, so
Yeah.
I've been waiting for him to say something about it, and he just hadn't said nothing.
Can I just say, it's weird running a podcast and not being on the podcast for 2 weeks.
That's true. I mean, how do you think I felt?
I don't know. It seems like you had a fucking fun time.
No, whatever, BS.
No, you didn't have a fun time?
No, well, I mean, I did, because I could pod with like anybody, but the thing is like it almost feels like you're cheating in a way, because you're like, oh, I'm doing this topic, but it's almost like you got to take yourself out of the equation. Like, wait, this isn't going on the podcast, and then like I kind of had to shake myself out of it and then back into reality and be like, no, this is going on the podcast. After that happened,
Can I just say, so you did the big three shonen one,
yeah.
which I don't know where y'all were going with that, like whatsoever. Like, I don't want to harp on like.
Hey, Heartless Weeb loved it, so
I know Heartless Weeb did love it. He loved it. He said he did. But I was like, where are these guys going with this podcast? I don't know where they're going with this. And I was like, okay, this is it's a decent podcast. It's fine. For somebody who it was the first time podcasting, it was not bad. It was decent. I feel like maybe my podcaster brain was kind of nitpicking the podcast. Be like, oh, they should have went here or went here with the topic, and this and that. I'm very critical about our podcast sometimes.
Yeah.
When it comes to how much.
Well, so I grew off of both of the ones that I already did so far. I had to say though, because I was kind of sitting there like thinking, like after the first where you say we got off topic a little bit, and the next one,
Did you actually listen to the next one?
No.
Did you didn't listen to it?
No, I was there. Why would I listen to it?
Can I just say, for one, we're supposed to be like an anime, like manga podcast or whatever,
No, we're just a nerdy podcast.
Well, that mostly focuses on anime and manga.
Do we?
I think we do, for the most part. We have our off days where we talk about Jingle All the Way.
That's true. So the funny thing is I've had some people ask me, and they know nothing about anime or manga, and so I scroll through, and the first one that keeps popping up for me to let people listen to is Jingle All the Way, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna send them this one. I'm waiting for somebody to get back with me and be like, is this a Christmas episode? So I can be like, hell yeah, it is.
You know what? So that's funny that you say that. I'm gonna go back to what I was talking about earlier. I'm going to talk about what happened. I don't really tell people that I podcast. It's kind of like a thing. But for some reason, somebody asked me, what did you do over the weekend at one point a couple months ago? And I was like, I podcast. I was like, I was on a podcast, or I was podcasting, and they're like, you were on a podcast, listening to a podcast? And I was like, I make a podcast. And they're like, what's your podcast called? And I was like, it's called Otakuology. And they're like, oh, what do you cover? And I was like, we cover anime, manga, movies, comics, video games, whatever kind of nerdy stuff we want to cover, They're like, well, shouldn't you rename it and not call it Otakuology? Because it's not centered around anime and manga. And I was like, I can't really do that. I've already recorded like 50 episodes. So it'll be weird if I just change the name 50 episodes in.
Right.
I can't do that. And I was like, well, technically, if you want to get with otaku, there's a lot of different kinds of categories of otaku. So I think it kind of fits.
Here's the thing that I really feel like. I feel like Otakuology is really a testing ground for people.
Uh-huh.
And so when we actually tell people the name, if they automatically jump into, oh, well, that's anime or manga, then I go, so you're not really an otaku or a need or anything else, are you? Because most people that consider themselves otaku, a neat, what's the other word that I hate?
Hikikomori's not that. Hikikomori's something else.
No,
Well,
hikikomori is
neat,
just like
neat and
at
hikikomori are
home.
kind of the same thing.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
No, what's the other one? Like, there's one other word.
Weeaboo? Is it weeaboo?
Weeaboo. Yes,
Weeaboo?
weeaboo. Hate that fucking word.
I do
But
too. I hate that as well.
Anybody that considers themselves like one of those things, if instantly you tell me that otaku is only for anime or manga, you instantly need to lose your otaku card. I mean because whenever people really look at it, otaku means
Like nerd.
extreme like of anything,
Yeah.
you know. And I would consider us to be in there because we've taken our extreme like of these nerdy things and turned it into a podcast that we like to talk about.
Yeah, true.
You know, if I'm not like an example, like I told you the other day, like somebody asked me to go, oh, you know, well, what do you for fun? I go, I podcast. They're like, oh, well, what do you do to chill out? I podcast. And they're like, what? I'm like, yeah, I said, like, my brain is automatically like clicked into it that if I'm watching a show and it's something that I know I could record, then I start like mentally taking notes on it. And they're like, so you chill out by doing that? And I go, yeah. I said, I fucking love it. And they're like, what? I'm like, yeah. I said, why do you think there's so many and I mean, you and I brought this up, you know, side episodes or whatever that are coming out. I mean, there's so many of them, and it's because
I
like
think
I'll
you
get into
kind of went
something
overboard, to
and
be
I want
honest.
people to know like the pleasure of it. Whatever.
I think you went a little overboard, to be honest.
Forget you.
Just saying.
Whatever, you love it.
You recorded like 50 fucking shows in a month.
And I'd do it again too. If it wasn't for the sniveling kids and their dog.
And I'm like, okay, if people listen, they listen. I don't know what to say, you know.
Right. But you know, and then I think everything's a growing period, which you and I have talked about that too. Like, I feel like covering more, it is a battleground in and of itself, because then you start realizing like what you're covering and everything else, and how to verbalize stuff better. You know, when you do that, when you listen to yourself, when you have all this other stuff, it really takes it out of it. And I think it makes it better whenever you and I podcast together, because you have to start getting to that point where you are well spoken. And if we do have like a pause area, then your brain automatically goes say something, you know.
Well, I've said this before. I feel like our podcast is stronger when we're together and us than apart. To be honest,
that's definitely true.
To be honest, that's kind of why I stopped the individual podcasts for a lot of reasons why, but that's kind of why I stopped, and I've slowed down quite a bit with those. The one that I do. The one.
You do like 7, you just don't do them at the same time.
But I wanted to talk about the last podcast that came out. I mean, I don't want to like dog on anybody who comes onto our podcast, which what was her name? Carlisa?
Yeah.
She seems like a very lovely lady.
Yeah.
But y'all didn't talk about any like real anime or manga, and I was disappointed. I had no idea where the fucking show was going.
You loved it.
I felt like y'all had very good banter.
I got a text that says The last 40 minutes were the best.
That's because you started going into your crazy off the wall story.
Oh man, I don't even talk about that.
Can we talk about that?
No, we
can
can't talk about that.
Why
No, we
not?
can't talk about it because that was the most horrible part of my life.
Hey, when we do our fake fan podcast, can we talk about it then?
No,
Why not?
because it's horrible.
Well, can we just talk around it?
Like I've had to regurgitate. Like, here's the thing, right? So my brother, who is there with me, will sit there and already kind of has a semi bad memory about stuff already, but it was traumatic enough that he knows a good chunk of it. But if any of our other brothers or anything call him and it gets brought up, he's like, let me call Jacob real quick to tell you this. So when I tell you, like, in a week, I've regurgitated this story, not only to like the three main people that I usually talk to, but even more so, I think I've probably told in total about 12 people so far. And I'm like, oh, it just never gets better. You know what I'm saying?
I just want the story told in full on the podcast.
Oh my god.
Anyways,
I don't know if I want to do that.
She seems like a very nice lady.
Yeah.
But I felt like my podcast co-host could have steered the ship a little better. Just saying.
Hey, I felt like it was good. I mean, we talked about live
I had no
action
idea
and other
what y'all were talking about half the time.
Slice of life versus real life.
I don't know if it was really slice of life.
For real life? Oh my god.
The surreal life.
No. So Grayson has a Bluey toy that when you squeeze it, it goes for real life.
No.
And that's what it was making me think. For real life.
Anyways, how is this time apart been for you with the podcasts?
I mean, it was all right. You know, I had to figure out other alternative means to things and what sounded good and things like that, which, you know, constructively, I felt like could have been a little different because it is meshing with like two other people. I mean,
yeah. Did you find it challenging?
So yeah. So like, think about it being like you and I being like the Wonder Twins, right? Right?
The Wonder Twins are lame.
They're pretty cool, okay.
The Wonder Twins are
you
lame.
know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying, though. So like when they put their powers together or whatever,
yes,
then they actually do their stuff and all that. So this was like giving somebody another ring and said, hey, you know, you're gonna do just as good as this, and they're a newbie. And so like I go, okay, well, a shape of a tiger, and there should be like shape of water or something like that. And it ended up being like shape of a bumblebee. And I'm like, what the fuck is that going to do in this battle for us? What is that going to do? So, you know, it did take a lot of stuff. And then the other problem that I know we had is really like the stopping and starting part. And I think that's another thing, is getting people in the mindset. Like you and I, when we, you know, just like before we started this show, I asked you like a million times, are you ready? You know, when we were doing that, like, I think both of those people, because they're also new to podcasting, it's almost like putting them on the edge of a cliff. It's like, hey,
did you
so you're going to podcast and you're going to do this. No, at some point, you know, they base jumped or cliff jumped or whatever, you know, where they could do it themselves. Yeah. But getting other people in such a comfortable state with that has really like made me consider like how I need to talk to people before we start a show to make sure they're in a good comfort area where they're not taken off guard.
Okay.
I mean, because I know that we have some scheduled interviews that people haven't ever like done a podcast before. And you can say, hey, get up in front of a camera and do a live stream or something on Instagram or something like that. and they'll get it. But then you have the other people that are like, I don't know where to go or what to do.
Yeah.
You know. So, it's
Hey, can you pause for a minute?
yeah.
Sorry to interrupt you.
But yeah, so I just think though it's kind of weird recording shows and
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah. So here's one thing though, because I got the new Pokemon game, I got Arceus, and I
Yeah.
highly enjoy it. There are some complications I feel like with it.
Are we going to talk about that on a podcast?
Sure, we're gonna have our own separate podcast with that.
Okay.
With that, but just saying, there are some problems with it, but I enjoy kind of the open world. Either fight to catch the Pokemon or you just throw in a Pokeball like in the anime and the manga and everything else.
Yeah.
I'm having a lot of fun with it, just really covering the Pokédex with the little side missions out of
Mm-hmm.
each entry, I guess.
Yeah.
But so I've been playing that, and it was funny because I brought up maybe covering like an episode and trying to see if we could bring on somebody who else is playing it, because you don't have it.
No.
And you go, oh yeah, you could bring them on and you do an episode. And I was like, I am really hurt by that.
Why?
Because you just wanted to toss me off and have me work with somebody else again.
Look, okay, it was only because I know you wanted to talk about it, and I feel like I wouldn't have been able to be a good bouncing off point for it, for that conversation.
It's Pokemon. You do great.
I
Everybody
mean,
could do great with Pokemon.
there's going to be another week where I'm not going to be able to record, and that's going to be like next month. So,
That's true.
So we gotta go from there.
That is
So
true.
if I'm not available, you were allowed to work with another person that week. How's that sound? You
This
have
feels
my
like
you.
this feels like we're in an open relationship. Oh my goodness.
No, if I'm available, you have to be with me. But if I'm not available, you're more than welcome to go around with any floozy you want. Just remember, wrap
Oh
it
my
before
god.
you tap it, and make sure to use a
Oh my
dental
god.
dam.
Oh my god. Oh my god. So the worst thing is you saying that, all I could imagine was because there's only like one other person that I know that pods that has it, which is Dad Needs to Talk, and all I
Uh-huh.
could see was his face and him basically being like giving you an awkward face if you told him what you just said to me about. So you can record with Jen, but only because of this. And I want you to know at that point you were floozy, and I was like, oh my god. You're gonna send us up a creek without a paddle,
Look,
saying
okay,
shit like that.
I am very critical of our podcast because I enjoy podcasts.
That's true.
I enjoy listening to podcasts, and I know what I enjoy listening to and what I feel is fun. Because honestly, I've said this before: when you're on a podcast, you have to perform, you have to entertain. So I expect to be entertained.
Let me just tell you again, you're going into some uncharted territory that I feel weird about. And when you use the word perform and other things, we're going straight back to the porn star manga that we covered not that long ago.
Not gonna lie, I'm very looking forward to volume 2 of that.
That's true. But
And
that's what it makes me feel like too, whenever people go, you need to perform correctly. You need to do this. Just feel like,
when we
you gonna see me naked too?
when we get numbered volume 2, we need to cover it for the podcast.
We have a lot that we need to cover.
But specifically that one, I want to cover like volume 2, see if it holds up.
Yeah. And we're gonna cover interspecies reviewers. Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see about that.
I love that one. That one's so good.
That one's okay.
I love it. I think it's so funny, especially when you read what everybody rated them and because of why. Oh, I love it. It's so funny, especially when you get random stuff and then they have the little side cast of characters that are going, like the 2 extra members, and it's like, okay, so we're going to do this, but all I could do was like when they went to go to the undead women, the werewolf guy got like the skeleton chick, and he's like, I couldn't do anything with her. All I got to do was gnaw on some bones, and I was like, oh, love it. So just different ones like that. I like the banter in that one, I have to say. But
I feel like that one's gonna be a lot like the porn star one.
Probably.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just so much manga to actually cover, though, and TV shows and everything. So, know. But
you mean anime?
No, everything. TV shows, movies.
I don't need to cover TV shows.
Sure you do.
I don't know.
What did you just tell me when we took our little bitty break to let the dogs out?
I was watching Peacemaker.
Okay, and what is that, mister? What is that?
Is a work of art. That's what it is.
Don't you bullshit me.
It is a work of art.
You're so
my God.
You're so full of shit.
I'm just saying, you take a character who nobody knew about. Nobody knew except for like the hardcore fans,
Yeah.
And you take a character like that, put him in a movie where he is one of the most likable / unlikable characters in the movie, and then you give him his own TV show, and he becomes the most likable character / sympathetic character ever. Like, it's phenomenal.
I just want to tell you, me and somebody else talked about how DC can't hold up in the DC Marvel race. And after watching that and knowing that that's the character they picked to have a TV show off,
yeah,
I can see why I'm not a big fan of DC TV
but
shows.
But let me tell you though, like Suicide Squad was the Suicide Squad was a fun movie. Like, right. It was legitimately, like, I had fun watching that movie. That's the only DC movie that I really enjoyed.
Yeah.
And going into Peacemaker, which it rides that line of taking itself seriously, but doesn't take itself seriously. Like, it's right on that line of like good drama / comedy, which is very hard to do. And it's done. Oh my, it is a fucking good show. Like, I would say with this, and if they keep doing like Suicide Squads, because they could do more Suicide Squad,
Yeah.
And I think the John Cena Peacemaker character could go even further with this past season 1 if they have the same team, same director, writer, or, producers, whatever, like it's really that good. Like, it's good.
Right.
Like Kathleen, like my wife, Kathleen, she enjoyed Suicide Squad. She thought John Cena had his moments, but when we sat down to watch this, and she is not a comic book person whatsoever. Like, she's not into the little Marvel DC thing. Like, she'll watch the movies with me. That's about it. And she'll enjoy them, She's a casual fan, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
She fell in love with the show as well. And that's a sticking point to me. If my wife can sit down and watch the show and we watch it week to week and she is engaged, I know that's a good show because it's keeping her engaged.
Right.
With the subject matter. And the subject matter gets pretty extreme, but it's not taken seriously.
Right.
Whatsoever. And you start to see this change from John Cena in the Suicide Squad from Peacemaker, and it's a seamless transition. Like it happens one after the other. So like the movie happens, then the show happens like 5 months later, I think it is.
Yeah.
And he's still feeling the effects of what happened in the Suicide Squad, the effects of what he did, and maybe his thought process isn't the
Oh,
right
so
process.
he didn't die in the Suicide Squad like they kind of
Did
portrayed to
you,
us.
well, you watched the movie, right?
Yeah.
So in the movie, you know how the building falls on top of him?
Right.
Well, if you go to the end credits, you see him in the hospital. And that's where the TV show picks up, is with him in the hospital.
Okay.
And
I probably just because I'm in the Marvel mindset, of going to the end of things and looking at it, and I don't usually think of that with DC stuff.
DC does have that. But so it picks up with um, the
Copycats.
the tech guy with glasses and the beard from the Suicide Squad movie, and one of the female characters. They have this Black Ops off the record team going on, and they have to like find something that's happening, and they use Peacemaker as their like guy to go kill things,
Yeah.
and it all goes awry, and Amanda Waller's involved at points, and I don't want to spoil too much for you because I feel like I'm going to get you to watch this show, but it's a really
I
fun
probably
show.
will. This will probably be like a reverse Cockerimbo situation where
Why?
I'll be like, Mike, this show's so fucking stupid. Fucking hate it. Da 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 da.
Let me just tell you, it has one of the best soundtracks as well. I have had the soundtrack on Spotify on a repeat. I fucking love the soundtrack. It's yeah, it's my new favorite show for 2022. Peacemaker for the win. And if DC continues going down this road, they have a winner on their hands. Just saying. Like it's one of those shows that doesn't pull its punches.
Yeah.
Like it's as gritty as the Suicide Squad movie. Even grittier probably.
Yeah. So you think
Like
they finally found like their niche
I think
into
so. I think
pulling
so. I
stuff
think
out of
they did.
movies?
I
Because I
think they
mean,
did, cuz they took
like a lot of it that like I've heard is they're like, oh, we'll just watch the shows, but then like the problem with the shows is like how much they jump around.
well this is
Are almost
only
like reading the comic books.
8 episodes. So, and it's I don't know if it's attached to any of the comics. Uh I know some characters from it are in the comics, and they do reference characters.
Yeah.
Like there's a whole conversation with Peacemaker. He goes to his dad's house to get something, and his dad has a neighbor, and his dad's neighbor is always like on Peacemaker's ass. Like Peacemaker is like a known superhero, but he's like nobody treats him like a superhero. They treat him like a bad guy or like a failed superhero because he's been
Well,
in prison.
he's technically not a superhero though.
He's a vigilante. He's like a vigilante. He's like the Punisher.
Well, they bring him up as being a bad guy.
Yeah, he's bad. You find out that he was in prison for 5 years in between when the Suicide Squad movie happens.
Right.
He was in like that prison or whatever. But there's this whole point in the show where he's like, why don't you have a rogues gallery like Batman? And he's like, because you know why? Batman's a fucking pussy. He's like, well, Batman doesn't kill. And he's, well, you know why I don't have a rogues gallery or whatever they call it? It's because all my fucking villains are 6 feet underground. I solve the fucking problems. Batman's a pussy.
Goodness.
Yeah.
That's pretty good though.
It was I saw that I was like, oh my fucking god. That was funny. That was funny. It's just a fucking good show. I love it. And I can't praise it enough. Is it for everybody? No, it's not. No, not everybody's gonna like it. But if you go into it not taking it seriously, you'll have a fun time.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll have a fun time.
Well, that's good.
I mean, the intro is a dance number. It's just
Goodness.
John Cena dancing in the Peacemaker costume.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Well, so I finally got to finish season 2 of Is It Wrong to Pick a Girl Up in a Dungeon? And I had to buy that soundtrack because I mean it was just great. You know, I like theatrical music sometimes, and that's almost what the entire thing is theatrical like battle music. And so I was playing one of the songs last night when I was taking a shower, and my son kept walking in there, and he goes, "Daddy, will you turn down your radio?" And you can do it with your kids, okay? I throw out in the shower curtain, and I go, "Fight me!"
When
and, and
my
he
kid,
just is like,
so my kids don't like to hear my music in the car.
"Yeah,
And my daughter always complains about like, oh, we have to listen to rock music. I don't listen to rock music. I want to listen to some pop music. And I'm like, it's my fucking car. I can listen to whatever I want. When you get your own car, you can listen to whatever you want. Rules of the road. Just
right."
saying. And then I turn up the radio a little bit more.
That's funny. Yeah,
I just think it's like I think it's a thing where if you're in somebody's car, you need to listen to what music they listen to.
right. Well, so the other thing is like why I had to do the fight me thing to him is because he's been watching this show called Magisword, which if you've ever seen it, fucking god awful.
Is it worse
I
than
hate it.
Hilda?
Way worse than Hilda. Hilda is amazing.
Hilda's a shit
Hey,
show in a
hey,
handbasket.
hey, your daughter loves Hilda too. Shut up.
I mean, so?
Exactly, shut up.
So?
Watch it with your kid, damn it.
I'm not watching Hilda.
Oh, it's so good. I love it. No, so he watches that. You know, it's about these people that have like swords that do random things. And so like way back when I bought him 2 wooden swords, you know, because like that's what I used to do is like play sword fight and all this other stuff with my cousins and things like that. So I got these other 2. So I guess he had like put them somewhere and forgot where they were, and he found them. He pulls them out and he looks at me and he goes, "Daddy, these are my magic swords." It's like, what? Like, it was one of those times where you realize like you've succeeded as a parent, but you've succeeded in the wrong way because it's not something you like.
Yeah, but I think kids need to find their own way and, find what they like, honestly.
That's true. That is very true. Now I just got to get him to know like to not really swing full out with the swords, because he'll sit there and pop me in the knuckle and I'm like, "Oh." And
You're gonna have a
I want to cuss and I'll be like, "He's standing right there."
you're gonna have a
Fudge.
broken TV on your hands, or maybe like a broken nose or something.
I keep waiting. I keep waiting. I probably will have like a broken nose.
Yeah,
Either that or like at some point he'll like hit one of them and it'll shatter and I'll just have the splinters in my
probably,
face, you know? Something.
probably.
Something off the wall like that is gonna happen.
Yeah,
But oh yeah, I just well problems. Um but yeah, you know, and so we did that. We got to watch the newest episode of the Book of Boba Fett, which uh I'm
I'm not caught up on that one.
I'm kind of having fun with it. So there's like a tier effect happening, right? So I don't watch it without him, but then whenever we do watch it, like I'll call and I'll talk to my dad about it.
Uh huh.
And so it's kind of like a generational thing, like, and then like if I call my dad or whatever, he'll talk to Grayson about it. So it's really funny coming down the pipeline, like how we all talk about the Mandalorian and Boba Fett with each other.
Yeah.
And I'm still trying to win that battle because my dad's like, "Why would I watch The Mandalorian?" I'm like, "You haven't seen The Mandalorian?" He goes, "Why?" Like, I like Boba Fett. And I go, "It's kind of a prequel, Dad. You need to watch it."
Can I just say, for somebody who has been in less of the Star Wars movies as possible, there's a big fandom around Boba Fett.
There is,
And
there is
a
definitely.
lot of it stems from like the expanded universe stuff that may or may not be canon anymore.
Yes,
Pick and choose whatever you want. But I have to say, I like the Mandalorian more than Boba Fett. I have not finished Boba Fett, but as a character, like I like Mando more than
I
Boba.
mean, I have to agree with you just because, like, there are like the last two episodes that are just based around Mando. I
Yeah,
mean, it's for him to help Boba Fett give you, but they are just basically based around Mando.
yeah.
So, like, you know, but the other funny thing is too, like, I catch stuff that my dad doesn't catch just from like things he'll be like, "Oh, did you know about da 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 da?" And I'm like, "No," and it'll be from like movies 4, 5, and 6,
Yeah.
because they came out first, and then the last ones and 1, 2, and 3, like, I know better. So, slight spoiler, if you've watched The Mandalorian, you know the Razor Crest got blown up.
Yeah. He takes a
And
bus.
so yeah, so he's looking for a new ship. Well, if you're not paying attention to it, you don't know, but he actually picks up Obi-Wan Kenobi's old ship.
Is it Obi-Wan Kenobi's old ship?
Yeah,
Like, is
it's
it?
his old speedster.
You sure?
Yes.
Has that been confirmed?
I don't know. I hadn't looked it up, but
Or
I'm
are you
pretty
just throwing
sure.
out a fan theory right there?
No, I'm pretty sure it's his. It's not the very first one because the very first one he had was yellow. But then later on, he gets a silver one, and that's what this one is.
Is it? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't. I personally don't care about the old or the prequel trilogy. It's not my bag.
Well, let me just tell you, for my dad being in the Air Force and having to know planes and shit, it probably meant a lot for me to know that. And he's like, "Oh wow." He's probably like, "Oh wow, I taught my boy right, knowing his planes."
So I started building Gunpla again.
Yeah, how's that?
It's going good. I finally got around to finishing the other half of my HG Zaku
Yeah,
to Red Comet.
yeah.
I got a little battle damaged from it. I stabbed myself,
Oh my god.
and then I ended up bleeding all over my all over the not the model, but the instructions.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I stabbed myself.
You should have laid like one of your white models down.
And
Like your NT1, just laid it down and just bled all over that, and then you could have called it the NT1 custom char or whatever. Because all his are red.
yeah, but I had a lot of fun building it. It was my first Zaku I built.
Yeah.
First ever Zaku. I had fun with it. I didn't finish all the weapons that came with it because he came with a lot of weapons.
So which one? What was it? What grade was it?
It was high grade.
Okay, and was it an Origins one or?
Yeah, it was the Origins. It's the one that comes with like the bazooka, the
Okay.
machine gun, the
It,
tomahawks, and
yes. It's like C6.
yeah, something like that. Yeah,
Yeah. Well, because there's of those ones, there's actually three of them
yeah,
when you get them. There's the black one with the giant axe, and then you have the regular green one with the bazooka, and you have the other one with the machine gun.
yeah.
But
Well, he comes with like an anti like artillery gun as well, like a big old sniper rifle.
yeah.
Yeah. But I didn't build all the weapons. I only built the bazooka because I wanted him to like pose like firing the bazooka. Because I never had a model like hold the bazooka properly.
Yeah.
But I got him in a cool stance where he's holding his bazooka.
Oh,
Um,
I have to say the Zaku models, like even the old shitty ones, are probably some of the best. I don't know why. If it's just how their plastic is like held together with the
it
curves and
seems it seems
everything,
a little it seems a little sturdy. Like it seemed
but
like a
they
very sturdy
well,
kit.
because even the old ones, the old Zaku models, like that are
Uh huh.
very shitty.
Yeah.
Like their weapon holding things, it seems like they're really good at balance, and
Yeah. I
I,
I
it has to be because of the footing part, though.
I got yeah. I mean, they do have really big feet.
That's true,
Their
yeah,
their feet aren't like narrow like Gundams. The Gundam feet are. But I had a lot of fun building it, even though I did stab myself like several fucking times in like. But I really wanna like actually try to like weather my kit to make it look like it's been through battle.
yeah,
So I took like I top coated it to where it had like a coat over it, and I
right,
sanded like the edges and stuff, like
yeah,
uh, and so like I made it if you can kind of see it in the picture a little bit, where it's kind of like chipping away at like the gray parts on its chest and on its like knees, where I tried to make it look like there was like metal coming through it, and I
yeah,
tried to. He has like a soot look over the red, and I did like gunmetal for the bazooka, so that it's like a different color, like a gunmetal. And I put a little silver and rust around it, and I put like rust around the joints and like dirt on the feet and stuff. So I tried to like make it look cool. I don't know if it showed up well in the pictures that I
yeah,
took, but it looks cool. Like I like it.
yeah. You gonna try and battle wear some of your other ones?
Probably not the ones that I've built already, but if I do it again, I'll probably try to do like with another kit that I'm building
Yeah,
because it's hard because all the other ones I have like dust and stuff all over them, and I
yeah,
have to like meticulously like clean the dust off. It's fucking hard to dust a Gundam. Just
right. Feather
uh,
duster.
well, I have like
That's why Grandpappy had one, was to clean his Gundams.
well, I have like canned air, and I'll spray canned air on them
Yeah.
occasionally. But
Well,
I had
so I took my Gundams and actually like downsized them. So I
yeah.
bagged and tagged all of them and put them in a tote and got rid of all the boxes, which like filled up one of my trash cans like all the way. But in doing so, it actually let me kind of know what Gundam models I had left.
Uh huh.
So I found the one I was working on originally, which was the Assault Gundam,
Uh huh.
and he's like half done. And I'm like, why did I never finish this guy?
I mean, sometimes you just gotta take a break. Sometimes you just gotta
Yeah.
take a break, you know?
So I need to finish him, but then I also found that I had, and you might want to correct me on some of these. I
What?
had a Marasai Gundam.
Is that the one that's like a samurai?
Yeah, the helmet kind of looks like a samurai.
Is he like red or
Yeah, he's red, and then there's the Marasai Custom that's green.
I'm thinking of one different one. I think I'm thinking of the Mushi Gundam, maybe. I don't remember.
Oh
I
yeah,
don't
the
remember.
Mushi Gundam is a samurai base Gundam. Um, but I had that one, and then I have the three forms of the Gundam TR1. So I have the Advanced Hazel, the Hazel 2, and the Hazel Custom.
Yeah.
I also have the Silver Bullet, which brings back good memories when you and I were both supposed to build the Hazel Customs.
You mean the silver bullet suppressor?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
Um, and then I have a Nemo, which is just a generic Nemo, and I have a
I've been trying to look for that high grade Nemo.
and I
Not the
have
high
a
grade Nemo, the master grade Nemo.
I have a Zaku 1.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
that's like the 7 kits that I have on top of the one that I still need to finish. And then I have another one that I found that's actually the Master Gundam with his horse.
Yeah.
And I found that one and I was like, oh, well, he didn't have a lid on his box because I was going to build that one next. And so I haven't ever built him yet. And I'm like,
Oh,
oh,
really?
God. Yeah.
I have to say though, like I don't know why I was so hesitant to like weather or try weathering when
Yeah.
like it's like fairly easy to do.
Yeah.
Like it's easy to do. Like you just got to buy like the little weathering kits and get some top coat, and spray on the top coat, and then just go to town with like a little like sander stick, and you know it's easy. And put on a little
Yeah.
more top coat after you're done. Like I had so much fun doing it. Like
Well, I've seen people do that too and get like a dry paintbrush because you don't want
yeah,
it wet, but they get a dry
you
paintbrush
like
and then
flick
they'll,
it.
well, so I've seen them flick it too. Or if they want it to be like they really like got hit by it, they'll sit there with a dry paintbrush and actually like stab it with it
Yeah, yeah,
and make it look like there was dirt where it like fell or something like that.
yeah,
But
yeah. I think I'm gonna start weathering my Gundams more, or attempting like to challenge myself on it
yeah,
because
you're gonna get into dioramas.
I don't know about dioramas. I don't have the room for dioramas, honestly. Like, because like my I have my 2 bookshelves,
Right.
and I'm running out of room to put Gundams on the top of my bookshelf.
Yeah.
So like I don't know. The Gundams might start to come down towards the manga and be in front of the manga. We'll see. But I mean, I don't buy Gundams on a regular basis a lot of times anymore. I'm very picky about what Gundam I want to get. You know.
Right.
But yeah, I think you would enjoy weathering. I think you would enjoy it. Like it was fucking fun. Like, I had a fun time. You know what? You know what it helps with? Hiding those stress marks.
Oh my god. No. No,
Even though I tried to.
but really like doing that, it really put into like view too of how many Gundams like I built. Like I know you got me into building Gundams and whatnot, but it really made me think about, oh my god, like
Yeah.
really bagging and tagging them all. I'm like, shit, I've put together like almost 500 Gundams and didn't even think about it.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, really sitting there thinking about it. I'm like, for a hobby that you started me out on kind of after you got like your first 5 or 6 like big guys putting them together, and then for me to have that many, I'm just like, oh my
Well, the
god.
thing is, I started with like I did some high grades, and I moved right up to master grade, and those were took more time for me to build.
Right.
Because I can't like where I build at my dining room table. So I'm
Yeah.
not sitting in like the most comfortable chair to build.
Yeah. The least comfortable, the better.
So my back I can only do like build for like maybe like an hour 30 before my back starts to hurt really bad.
Oh, where are you sitting at right now?
I'm at the dining room table.
And
My back
it's not
hurts.
comfortable, right?
No, it hurts.
Okay. so so just something, and I told, whenever I film with Carlissa or whatever, I told her, and I said, okay, now I know you said that you want to do this too, because she asked me why we sat at my mom's dining room table, which they're
Yeah.
actually like more bar stools. They have
Yeah.
cushions on them, but when you sit there for a while with no back or anything, like your ass hurts. And she
Well,
goes,
I have a back, but I can't like
she
if I lean far enough, I feel like I'm gonna break this fucking chair.
yeah.
Like the
Well,
chair has like no give. It's made out of wood.
so she asked me, she goes, well, why did we sit here instead of like recording on one of the couches or whatever? I go, let me tell you, okay. I said, this is a pro tip for podcasting whenever you need to. And she goes, yeah, what is it? I go, whenever you record, you want to pick the most uncomfortable chair because it keeps you from nodding off, and it also keeps you paying attention because you're like, man, I really want to get done with this shit. I'm keeping on a time constraint because my ass fucking hurts. And she went, I didn't know that. I go, yes, it's a fucking pro tip, okay? So, because I know how many times you and I have been like, oh God, I'm tired. I'm glad to get out of this chair. If we've done a couple shows back to back.
Yeah.
And it was just really funny, like in that instance of,
I'm like, okay, let's take a 30-minute break. Okay, come on, 30-minute break.
Right, come back.
I gotta get up and move around.
Right.
So
I just,
yeah,
it was funny with that, being like, oh, it's a pro tip.
Pro tip, yeah.
So right, yes.
But yeah, it's good to be back, podcast, and I hope we get some more podcasts out there and stuff. You don't have to hear me give any ads anymore for the moment.
That's a dick move. Don't say that to me.
Why?
Forget you.
It's because we lost our ads for the moment.
We lost our ads for the moment. Not for anything bad, guys. It's not
for anything
bad. But we hit that glass ceiling, okay? At least the first glass ceiling. So,
yeah.
I mean, that's all I can say. That's all I can say. But, we played some good video games, Pokemon Arceus, covering a lot of movies, just a lot of stuff. So, stay tuned for more great content, right? Right?
Yeah, I mean, I hope so.
I hope so too.
I hope it's great content. We'll have to wait and see.
I don't know. I mean, are you going to be as critical as you are with the two shows you weren't on as you will be with this show and the other shows you're on?
I mean, probably.
I did have one of them ask them, they go, no, it's just because we were on, or is Michael that Christian with him? And I go, it's just because y'all were on. They're like, good to know. So they're like, I'm going to message him and criticize his recording. I was like, do it. I'd like to see you try, okay? So I had to play a little bit of devil's advocate.
Look, I'm just very critical and very particular about how I want my podcasts and how I enjoy listening to podcasts, okay? Just saying. No fault to them, but they did a decent job. What?
To them?
To them. I can't talk. To them.
Hey, you better watch out. They're gonna be listening. Criticize your to them.
To them.
What did you stutter, Mike?
I stuttered, man. So I mean, before we wrap this up, I also have a YouTube channel called Otaku Mike. If you want to go check that out. So somebody messaged me on my YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And they were like, loved your review, but it's opossums, not opossum. Opossums.
Whatever.
Opossums.
You should have just told them to fuck off.
Well, I was like, I'm white. I'm from the South. I mispronounce a lot of stuff. And he was like, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, buddy, do you think this is going to help me talk or say a name of a manga I'm not even reading anymore? He's like, I was like, do you really need to be like an anal, what was it called? Like, I don't know what they're called. Linguist or whatever. And he's like, I'm just blah, 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 blah. He starts giving me his life story about saying things in the proper manner. And I'm like, I'm trying to be as nice as possible with this, but I don't need to hear your life story. I don't know if you're trying to troll me right now or what, but I don't need to hear your life story.
Troll onion. It happens.
Because he was like, I bought all 7 manga. I spent over $100 because of you. I'm like, okay, that still doesn't give you the right to criticize my speech.
That's true.
I did this video over like 2 years ago. Do you want me to go back and change it? Like, there's nothing I can do about it, buddy.
Yeah, and I really think a lot of people have that problem too, because they think that whenever you do different ones, that you did it just like yesterday.
No, I did it like 2 years ago.
And it's like, look at the timestamp, buddy. Look at the timestamp, okay?
You know, I try to not be like a jerk on my YouTube channel. I try to be as nice as possible. But when you come at me like, you pronounced this wrong, it's opossums. And I'm like, that's not going to help me whatsoever.
Right.
It's going to make me want to pronounce it even worse.
That's true. That is true. I think the douchebag is strong in this one.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out, is this guy trying to troll me or is he serious about this? Well, then he deleted all of his messages and then he blocked me and he unsubscribed to my channel.
That's funny.
Yeah. So
that is too funny.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm kind of glad I don't get comments on my videos anymore, for the most part, because of stupid shit like that.
Yeah, it's because they know you pod with Jen Graves.
I don't know anything about that. I mean,
maybe they tuned into one show and they were going to heckle us, and then they listened to that one show where we were going to be like Jay and Silent Bob and pull up the messages from the internet and go nut check people.
Are you Fingerbang 69?
Did you say?
Did you say blah 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 blah? At this time and date?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it was stupid. It was stupid. I don't even know why I engaged with them, or interacted with them. I don't know why, but I did.
Who knows?
Anyways, guys, thanks for listening. Glad to be back. Hopefully I don't get COVID. Hopefully Jen doesn't get COVID. Because if Jen gets COVID, I think I'm just going to not do the podcast for a week.
I'll fucking do the podcast in my sickened state.
I don't know, man. I got taken out hard.
As they say in the biz, you know, the show must go on.
I guess.
Anyway, they'd never know. I'd already have like so many shows pre-recorded. Be like, wait, Jen was out of commission for a little while. When the fuck did this happen? Be like, yeah. Professional.
All right, let's get this going. My butt hurts.
Good.
I'm tired. We were supposed to do 2 podcasts tonight. I think I'm only good for 1.
All right. As always, though, guys. Hopefully nobody goes back to listen to that little voice that said that.
Did you say take the dick out of your ass?
Yeah, I did. Anyway, though, guys, that was a great show. Thanks for listening. And as always, we'll see you next Tuesday. Ew.